Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to This Just In. Thank you for joining me today. In this video, we're going to take a look at RSI stock. That's Rush Street Interactive. Made a lot of videos about this one, but I wanted to give you an update because it has been doing very well lately. I wanted to give you my thoughts on where I see it going for the rest of the year. So let's jump right in. Alright guys, before we get started today, subscribe to the channel for me, hit the little bell so you get notified every time I post. There's also a link down in the top pinned comment to my Patreon account. Come over and join the family. We've got an awesome community over there. You'll get access to the private Discord where we talk stocks. You'll get links to all my portfolios so you can see exactly what I invest into. And then anytime I buy or sell a stock, up to the second I do it, I send it out so you can follow along. I also send out a lot of swing trade setups. We've had a lot of winners lately. I send out anytime I, set up a trade, anytime I take profit, just so you know exactly what I'm doing when I'm doing it. And then I take a lot of like high conviction, long-term fundamental analysis plays and send those out as well. Break down the fundamentals, the income statements for you so you know exactly what I'm looking for. I understand that not everybody is a swing trader, not everybody is a long-term investor, so I try to do a lot of both. So if that's something you're interested in, come over and join us. I think you'll get a lot of value out of it. Day one squad, I love you guys. Thank you for your support. Real quick before we get started, guys, I got a couple announcements. I'm kind of changing up the structure of the channel. I am a new YouTuber, been trying to kind of find my footing and figure out what I want to do and what direction I want to go. It's really challenging, guys. Like, these videos take a long time to prep and make, and been kind of going all over the place with, trying to do the top-down analysis where I only take a surface level look, but I've had some people kind of comment like, why wouldn't I just do that myself? And then I've tried to do really deep dives. I've tried to just do technical videos. So I kind of just decided what I'm going to start doing is 2 videos. I'm going to start doing one that is strictly based on technicals, swing trading, short-term volatility, where I will, kind of go over some of the plays that I'm watching, some of the charts that I think look good. And then we'll also update on some of the previous ones and then kind of look at ones moving forward. So anybody that wants to do just swing trading can kind of watch those and enjoy those. Then I'll do a second video where it's going to be really based on like one stock where I'll do a super, super deep dive for like a long-term high conviction play that you just buy and hold. Again, I know that not everybody's just a swing trader. Not everybody wants to do long-term investing. So that way I can kind of appeal to a, both audiences, because that's what I do. I've got my long-term dollar cost average portfolios that I buy, add money to every single week, and they're just for the long term. I barely even look at them. And I also do a lot of swing trading based off technical analysis. So just kind of wanting to, appeal to everybody. So we're going to try that for a little while and see how it goes. Next thing I wanted to kind of talk about, I am doing some restructuring of the brand as well. So I've came up with a really cool logo. I'm going to be changing the name of the channel just a little bit, kind of changing the whole theme of it as well, which I've got some really cool stuff coming with that as well. So pretty excited for it. Just look out for that. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support me, guys, the number one best way to do that is come over to the Patreon, join us over there. And I know for a fact you'll learn a lot. You'll also, make money and take your investing to the next level. So definitely do that if you want to support me. I love you guys. Thank you for that. Again, sorry that I haven't been posting the last couple of days, but with trying to run my own company and work full time and run the channel, it's really tough. I know you guys probably don't care, but it's tough. A lot goes into it, but thank you for supporting me. I really love you guys. Let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about RSI. That's Rush Street Interactive. For any of you guys that are new to the channel, I love investing in online gambling, video game stocks, iGaming, a lot of those types of companies. And I have made videos where I go much further in depth on like what this company does, all of the deep dive, of their strong points, their weak points, where I see them going, the valuation metrics, things like that. So if you do want to see that, I will link those videos right here where you can go back and watch a much deeper dive. Today, I'm just going to give you an update because I have made videos about this stock recently, but it's been a couple of weeks and it's been doing really, really well. I did have one of the members comment the other day, said they bought like 40,000 shares at $10, and it's at like 18 bucks today. So good job for you, bro. Thank you for shouting me out and giving me your thanks. I'm glad that you had a nice trade on that. Congratulations. Today, I'm just going to go over the basics. We're going to go look at the most recent earnings report. We're going to take a look at some slides from the investor presentation of that report. Then we're going to look at the chart, and I'm going to tell you where I see it going for the rest of the year. So let's get started, guys. First thing we're going to take a look at is the earnings report. Guys, so they've been doing really well on their earnings report. As you can see here, for their Q2 of 2021, they posted a non-GAAP EPS of -4 cents. Which was a beat by 7 cents. So they beat consensus, but they're still posting a negative earnings per share, which isn't that big of a deal. I mean, it is a growth stock. Obviously, this is a growing industry. Not too concerned with that. Obviously, we do want to see that flip positive in the next couple of years, hopefully sooner rather than later. As far as the revenue goes, though, they did 122.8 million, so about 123 million, which actually beat by 10.88 million, so 11 million essentially, and they grew their revenue 88.8% year over year from Q2 of 2020. So not only did they beat on their EPS, but they also beat by revenue, and they beat by a good margin. Almost 11% beating on revenue is very nice to see. Guys, for those of you guys that do not know, Rush Street Interactive is kind of a sleeper stock. I mean, and not a lot of people know about it. It's not like a big hyped up, growth stock like some of the other EV companies. This is one that I honestly kind of plays into when I talk about ChargePoint and some of those other EV charging stocks. When I say that not, every industry has like the most obvious stock is the best performing stock. In this industry, I would probably say DraftKings is like the most hyped up stock out of like the online betting, sports betting, things like that. But I actually think Rush Street Interactive is going to do much better in the sense of, performance over a long period of time. Now, DraftKings will obviously be the monster of sports betting, but online gambling is actually a bigger industry, and they appeal to a larger demographic as well. RSI mainly, a large percentage of their business is online gambling, the iCasinos. They do sports betting as well, but it's not as large as the iGaming, but they are growing it pretty consistently, and they own a large percentage of the market within the online gambling casinos within a lot of the states in the U.S. The U.S. is obviously growing really quickly for online gambling, and RSI is in a really good position to capitalize on that. One thing I do want to throw out real quick with RSI, they won Casino Operator of the Year and Customer Service Operator of the Year like 3 years in a row. So their management team is very good at what they do, and they know how to run a casino properly. So just wanted to throw that out. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from their most recent earnings report. I'm not going to go through all of them, just a couple of them here. We already looked at this. This is how much they grew their revenue by, 80%, 80, 90% year over year, which is fantastic. As you guys can see here, they did increase their full year 2021 guidance. Previously, it was 465 million for full year 2021, and they upped it to 495 million for the end of the year. So that is fantastic. I mean, they're upping their guidance by $30 million. They're obviously very confident that they will achieve that, and I actually think they have good chance of beating guidance, if everything goes as planned. So that's really nice to see. Monthly active users grew by 128% in Q2 of 2021 over Q2 of 2020. So, 128% year over year growth in their monthly active users. I thought this was interesting. The average revenue per monthly active user grew sequentially from $302 to $377 and declined year over year due to higher concentration of sportsbooks only players in 2021. So they're getting a larger percentage of sportsbook only players because they're focusing and growing that side of the business. The sportsbook only players usually end up spending, more money per, active user. So they make more off of those. So, not a bad thing to see that it declined year over year. It just shows that they're growing their sports betting side a little bit better, or a little bit more. Like I said, the online casino is definitely their biggest side of the business as of now. So next thing is they ended their Q2 with a cash balance of 361 million. So a decent cash position. Obviously, that's not, massive, like, a couple billion, but not too bad. Good to see they have some cash on the side to make acquisitions and grow the business. A couple of things here. This is all just like, how their overall business did. One thing I wanted to point out, they've agreed to market access opportunities with partners in Arizona, Connecticut, Louisiana. I hope that's Mississippi and New Mexico. So, again, 75% of the US is either legalized for online gambling or has legislation to become legalized for online gambling. And as time goes on, more and more states are going to open up and they will be able to step in and grow their business there. So, great to see there. One thing I really wanted to look at, guys, was their recent performance. Take a look at this. RSI has generated record levels of revenue every quarter since second quarter 2019. So for the last 2 years, quarter after quarter after quarter, they've posted record revenue. Take a look down here. This kind of gives you an idea of their compounded annual growth rate over the last 2 years at 251%. That is huge, guys. If they can keep that up, if they can continue to grow at that pace, they will do very well. Obviously, they can't grow and maintain 250%, over the course of 2 years forever. They're going to get to a point where they're too big to grow at that point. But I definitely think they're still small enough that we could see that growth maybe for even another year or two, which would be huge. I also think that we're kind of getting to that end of the year time. Everybody's kind of getting away from COVID. Sports are coming back. Football started. I think we will start to see these next couple of quarters really ramp up with their sports betting side, and that will increase revenue. Obviously, when all the sports comes around, their revenue jumps. It's seasonality, so we'll just have to kind of see what happens. But really, really eager to see how they finish up the end of the year. I think they're going to finish up really strong. But let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. This is really what I wanted to show you guys because this is super impressive. As you guys can see, they've been making a fantastic run lately after reaching that low, back in the end of July, around $9.47. I made a video right around that time because it was just too low. I didn't think it should be that low. We've all witnessed, we all watched how the SPACs came out, single-handedly the most crazy market conditions I've ever seen for assets. All the SPACs were running to all-time highs, breaking through levels, reaching mid to high 20s after just a basic announcement of a merger. So RSI was no different. They announced the merger, ran up, reached that high point of $26.55 before dumping, just like all the other SPACs at the beginning of 2021, end of January, beginning of February, everything started selling off. If it had anything to do with the SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company, they were dumping. Same thing, guys, dumped all the way down, consistently, literally consistently. It had a couple days where it tried to make some moves, right around in March, but, blew right past its mid-March lows. And like I said, reached that $9.47, which was lower than the NAV price of $10 that all the SPACs start at. One thing I want to point out, guys, this is the reason why we map these inflection points here. As you can see here, guys, this was that initial candle high close from back in September 2020, where it reached that all-time high. Sold off because it couldn't break, couldn't hold. Sold off, tried to test it again, couldn't break, fell right back down to the NAV price. But look at what happened when it broke it. Broke it, back tested it for a day, and then it mooned and ran straight to the top of the range before back testing that and running again. So that's why we map this, guys. You can see price action correlation. When you map an inflection point like that, you always want to look for like that initial candle high close or that initial wick high or anything like that where price will correlate to it, down the road. And that's exactly what happened here. Mooned and then came back and look at this, just back tested it one day with a wick, back test, runs right back up, comes down, has a nice little reaction right back to the top of the range around 18 bucks, then tries to test it for the third time because it had so much downward pressure on it, but it just couldn't hold. Broke it, tried to get back above it, and then look, resistance. So tested it once, tested it twice, and once it couldn't break it and turned what was once support into resistance, it broke all the way down and ran to all-time lows. So guys, that's why it's important. In the last video I made, what was I saying? You break this inflection point, you're running to the top of the range like that. And that's exactly what happened. You guys can see here, I mean, ever since like what, August 4th, it's appreciated, upwards of 90-something% in the last 43 days. So in, little over 5 weeks, around 5 weeks, it literally is up 90%. One thing I want to show you here though, bottomed out, had a big gap up, tried to break it, couldn't break it, came back down, almost filled the gap, didn't quite get close, but look what happened. Broke it and then back tested it for a couple of days and boom, right back to the top of the range at $18, at least $18.12. Now we broke it. We are having a monster day today, up 12, almost 13%. If we can close above this, get a couple of days, just like we did here, back test, your next target's going to be $25.17, which was that initial high from clear back here in December of 2020. It came up, had two gaps. So it had that initial candle high close, then it gapped up, and then couldn't hold and fell all the way back down. You may have a little bit of a resistance level right back in here, like on these wick lows where it held the support around that $20 psychological level. But I don't think it's going to be anything too serious, guys. I don't think it's going to be something that is going to be really hard to break. I mean, with this type of upward pressure, I think you should break that pretty easily. You may have some price stall where the asset just kind of stalls out for a couple of days and back tests those lower levels before running again to, that 25.17, which is the all-time high, the all-time candle high close, I should say. There was higher wicks, but all-time candle high close from right here on January 20th of 2021. That's your target. One thing I wanted to point out, if you take from your all-time wick high to the all-time low, you just broke through your 50% retracement. That 618, the golden retrace is where? Right there at $20, $19.97. So when I say you might get a little bit of price stall at that $20 level, you could absolutely see that. One thing I wanted to point out is it just recently broke that 200-day moving average. So you broke, back tested this level, came up, broke your 200-day moving average, back tested it for a couple of days, and then ran. Guys, that was the first time it has gotten above the 200-day moving average since clear back here at the end of March. Ever since then, it was below it. Same thing with the 50-day moving average. You broke it right back here, back tested it, and ran. I'm not too big on like golden crosses and stuff like that. I mainly use moving averages for, dynamic support resistance levels, and just kind of getting an idea of where the trend's at. So now we're above it. We get that 200-day moving average starting to cross over your 20. You get it all pointing up. That's where you want to be when you're looking at a trending asset, and this thing is absolutely trending. One thing I want to say, though, I know that the webcam's probably somewhere right here, but we are getting bearish divergence on your MACD, clear as day right here, making higher highs on your price, making lower highs on your oscillator. So again, you could see some price stall right here, but hopefully it's just a back test of that $18 level. The RSI is confluent. You're not making any bearish divergence, but you are looking really good. It's sitting at 76 right now. We could absolutely see this thing reach, 80, 90. The highest all time was up there at like almost 90, 89. Before that, it was, 88 and about 89. So this thing could absolutely keep seeing higher prices or higher levels of relative strength. And if it sees, that 89 on the relative strength again, why wouldn't you see $25? So that's where I think it's going, guys. Again, you definitely want to get confirmation. You can see that this $18 level was, an area that was back tested multiple times as support. So it breaks it, back tests it for a couple of days, and then moons straight to $25, comes down, doesn't even get, too strong to even retest it. Tested a couple areas around that $20 before running back test, run, back test, run. So that's what I think you're going to do. Price action correlation says, straight up, straight down in between this area. So a couple of things I just want to look at, like the weekly and the monthly chart, just kind of check out how those are doing because the daily looks awesome, guys. Again, when you're looking for stuff like this, you make that high, you made a higher low, you make a high, higher low. Now you're running again, you want to make a high and a higher low. So as long as you come down and, make a higher low, then even right here at 1520, but really your discernible low is clear down here at 1169, you'll be fine. Ultimately, though, we don't want to see it break down below the 200-day moving average again. We want to see it keep moving up. Next thing, let's take a look at the weekly. Guys, look at this. This is just so strong. I mean, look at these. It makes that gap, tries to fill the gap, can't fill it. Big bullish engulfing candle, 2 weeks of indecision while it's getting above that 50-day moving average. Big ignition candle, this week. So hopefully we can close this weekly candle up here around this area. That's ideally what we'd want to see. You're building on positive momentum on the weekly. Doesn't show any signs of starting to wean, so you could be, peaking out over the next couple of days. But, back here on August 16th was the first week of positive momentum on the weekly since back in February. So it had been a while. It's due to, make some runs. The RSI is at 64, right there in the bullish control zone. That's exactly where you want to see it. Now, if we take a look at the monthly, what more can you ask for, guys? Had that tweezer bottom on the monthly. Big bullish engulfing candle. You're back tested that on the monthly. The monthly is not quite closed yet. You have 14 days left. But if you can paint something like this on the monthly, I think you're in pretty good shape. The RSI is at 63 on the monthly. Again, bullish control zone. Exactly what you want to see. Overall, guys, I think RSI has more gas in the tank. If you don't currently own it, these are absolutely not levels to be buying the stock at, running up $18, $19, especially after a big run like this. It's not strategical. If you do own it, congratulations. If you're holding it for the short term, I would recommend taking some profit at these areas. If you hold it for the long term, you just have, high conviction in it like I do, you don't necessarily need to take some profit, but it's not a bad idea. The market does not reward traders that leaves money on the table. So I always recommend taking profit when you're up, large percentages. So definitely something to consider. Again, if you are looking to get into the stock, wait. You try to get some back tests, try to get some confirmation that once a level that was once resistance is now support before it runs again. Then you can try to take a entry from there. But these are definitely not strategical areas right here. For those of you guys that are in it, again, next price target 25.17. After that, 26.55, and then you're in price discovery from there. And who knows where it can go. Again, if we use our fibs for, targeting essentially, the 113 up there at 28.75, the 1272, 31.17, and the 1414 at 33.60 with your 1618 at 37. So those are absolutely areas you could see. Honestly, guys, I think by the end of the year, we could absolutely see that $26.55, no problem, especially if it continues to run like it's been running. So I think now that sports are back on, RSI makes a lot of moves. They've got a lot of acquisitions, a lot of partnerships. They're doing very well. They've got new states opening up. I think this is going to be a very strong asset. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a licensed stockbroker. Always do your own research and due diligence. Come join us at the Patreon if you want to, support the channel, be a part of the family. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you guys. Peace.